episode of Words of the Underground. My name is Jake. I'll be your host. To my left is Chuck West, our co-host. And to my right is our special guest for this week, AJ NOWAK. How you doing, AJ?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Chuck, how you doing?
Doing good.
Um,
Cooler weather's coming.
oh, yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
Mhm.
Holding on to that number one pretty good, aren't you?
Trying to.
Yeah.
Or at least
Yeah, he's holding on to
defending
it,
if I
right?
So let's, speaking of number one, let's go ahead and get to some news. Let's start with Team Blue. There's a top 10 list. Ernie's sitting at number one. He's going to be on vacation for a couple of days, so that's going to sit for a few days, I guess.
So he planned it that way.
Yeah, he beat Josh, and then before Josh could get his rematch in, he's like, oh, vacation. So, Cody Cook jumped Russ for the number 2 spot.
Wow. That was a good match. Big third game.
Yeah, big
278, 256. Or
big
something
third
like that.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Josh took Ernie's number 3 spot. Jared whooped me pretty good for number 4. Russ is at number 5. Jordan Haddon, he took out Dustin Hearn in 2 matches for the number 6 spot. You got me at number 7, Dustin at number 8, Russell Huffman at number 9, and Thomas Markley joins the top 10 at number 10. Let's go ahead and move
Mixing
on.
it up on Team Blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny. He had his 2 wins for a while, and then he finally decided to go
Try
for
to
it.
crack in.
Yeah. Let's go to Team Black. Of course, AJ sitting number 1 still.
Trying to.
You have any current challenges right now?
Yeah, I bowled Justin Tuesday evening
That's right. That's right. Justin Barrett.
here. Yeah.
You got Rodney number 2, Tracy number 3, team captain Tanner at number 4, and the Barrett boys at
Yeah.
5 and 6. That's pretty neat. Father-son duo over there.
Yeah.
You got Noah, number 7. Our own Chuck West at number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Lance Slack at number 9. And Mr. Kyle Biggs rounds up the top 10. Pretty solid set on both sides, I'd say. Got a lot of talented bowlers in our club now.
Definitely.
And
For sure.
oh yeah, especially with all the ones we've gained.
Yeah.
I think we got like 13 more this month.
Yeah.
Wow.
46?
That's pretty
46 or 47. We have a new addition as of Friday night. Kenneth Pearson's joined, so that's pretty
Great.
cool. He came up to me and he said, "I was challenged and I'm not even in this. So how do I get in this?"
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So-
At least it's early in the month.
Oh yeah,
I know we're
You
working
get
on
that.
Austin.
yeah. We're working on Austin from our Friday night team.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't have Facebook. I'm gonna make him get a Facebook.
Yeah.
He had it. I mean, he maybe just deactivated it. He had it for years. So I don't know.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna use my girlfriend's. I'm like, come on, dude.
Come on, man.
It's
It
not that
doesn't
hard.
take that much. I mean, gosh, what Edwards created one, didn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah. Mike Edwards created one just for this club. All right, let's see what else we got. Points. It's a pretty close race right now because there's not that many
it's
not that
early.
many matches going on early in the month. Rob Benedict's jumped out to a lead. He's had 3 wins since he's joined. You got Lance Slack. And I can't read that very well. James Luff.
Yeah, Wolf.
Jordan Haddon. It's pretty much everybody's just even. There's maybe a point or 2 in between each
Yeah.
person.
What, top is 6, bottom is 4 there.
Yeah, yeah. So
Tight. One match.
yeah, it'll change.
Yeah.
The further we go in the month, it'll change.
For sure.
All right. So the guys that are able to challenge into the top 10 right now, for Team Blue, Rob and James Winslow. Both you guys, as of right now, are able to challenge the top 10. Now, if you lose that challenge. We're doing it now where it's to consecutively 2 match consecutive wins get you a top 10 chance. So if you get challenged by somebody else or you challenge somebody else that's not in the top 10 and you lose that shot. Team Black's got a few more guys. Let's see. I can't read that very well at all.
Sean Judy? Was that
Yeah, Sean
Yeah.
Judy. Yeah, I think he had 2 wins right off the bat.
Michael David Jr. and Johnny Heiser?
So those guys, if you can find somebody in the top 10 that's available, try to get in there. We should be getting new tags this next week coming up. That should be in the mail. So that'll be interesting. They're all metal tags
Yeah.
They're going to look pretty sharp, I think.
Wow.
Maybe a dumb question that everybody knows, or I'll ask it anyways. If you fall out of the top 10, you have to win 2 matches again.
You still have to win 2 consecutive
Got it.
matches.
To get
If
back
you are unranked, you have to win 2 consecutive matches. Now, if you lose that top 10 match and you are you lose it in 3 matches or 3 games, so you have a rematch clause.
Right.
So, with that being said, you can come back into it, get your rematch. You could win your spot back, that kind of thing. But if you lose in two matches or 2 games, you're done. You're going back to the unranks, and you got to win 2 consecutive matches to get back up there.
Fight back.
Yeah. Now, when I first had the meeting right after we got these title belts, I mentioned, hey, throw it out on social media that you won these title belts.
Yeah.
You took that to heart, man.
Yeah, man.
You really took that to heart.
Yeah.
Yo, Adrian over here.
Yeah.
Yo, Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, that picture right there is priceless. I almost put that
Yep.
as the background picture for the
Oh,
club.
that's funny.
Like that picture was priceless.
Wow.
Or drinking beer.
Yep.
Um,
It does taste better.
yeah. That's the first one you put out there, and,
Yep.
and that made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he actually took what I said to heart.
That almost looks like
That's
a
a good one.
kilt.
But in the next one with the
Yeah.
plaid,
Oh,
with the plaid
with the
shorts.
plaid
yeah.
shorts.
Yep.
That's awesome. Got the mask in there. That's a good touch.
Yeah, it's fun. You gotta
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have fun with it.
Well, and I mean,
Safety
this is the
first.
first thing I've ever been a part of that has a belt as the winning one. And,
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
have a lot of fun with this. This is, I mean, I take it very seriously. I want to hold on to the number 1 spot. But I mean, it's fun. Bowling's fun. It's a game. You gotta enjoy it while you're doing it.
And this is a new style of competition, so I think that's what
Yeah, it's a good
entices
time,
everybody to come out and
for sure.
try it out. A little bit of news: if you guys are doing any matches at Andy B's, we do have these League Bowlers cards. You need to come see me to get one. This will get you your league rate. Rylan was nice enough to give us these, even though we're not technically a league at Andy B's. So
Most are.
That's
though.
nice.
We're in the-
yeah,
in
most
there.
of you
Yeah.
guys are, or we work here. Either way, but it was very generous of Rylan and Andy B's to give us the league discount.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
He's been amazing with this.
Oh yeah,
society.
he's been very
This is great.
supportive, and we appreciate everything he's done for us.
Definitely.
A lot of stuff happened this week. That first day was crazy. Challenges thrown out,
Oh, yeah.
challenges going down.
Yeah.
I about pulled what little bit of hair I had left out trying to keep up with it.
I was like, poor Jake.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah. I do think the single post has helped
Yes,
make your life easier.
yes. For those of you who are not paying attention, we do now have posts for challenges and scores. If you want to challenge somebody, post it in the challenge post that's under the announcements tab of the Facebook page. It's going to make it a lot easier for me because if you do it in like a normal post, they all get shuffled in after I looked at it once. So if I don't put it in as I look at it, it gets lost.
Yeah.
And with that first day, it was a little hard for me to keep up with everything that was going on. I'm kind of surprised I actually pulled it off, but now that we have it in one
Too
post,
many people now.
yeah. Now that you have it in one post, they stay in line, and I can go through. And if I hit like on it, that means that I've added it to the list.
Yeah.
So if you don't see a like on it after a couple hours, hit me up. Hey, did you see this? Or I can't do everything right off the bat because of, like everybody else, I work.
Yep.
So yeah. If you guys can just keep using those, I will delete them each week and add a new one. That way we can not clutter up one thread.
Yeah. If it gets too bad, still we could probably do a team blue and a team black post.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you do have cross challenges.
Yeah,
so maybe
if
that won't
that's
work.
yeah,
but
because Tanner
just
was
spitballing.
talking about how he was going to try to keep up with his team's challenges, and then he
Yeah.
started looking through. It, he's like,
But yeah,
"Never mind."
maybe not.
He's like, that's all you, brother.
Right.
So he left it to me. So yeah, Chuck, you got any questions for AJ here? We go through the interview.
Any questions before it or during it? Or now?
Yeah, we'll go for it, man. Come on.
So, how long you been bowling?
I think I joined my first league when I was 5, and I guess I was thrown in my first league, not necessarily my choice, but yeah,
Same.
my dad was a bowler, and it kind of a hand me down. I became a bowler too. So
Didn't take long to get the bug.
actually, it kind of did. My Dad, again, was a big proponent of getting me in these scholarship tournaments growing up. I'm from Iowa originally, so
So that'd have been the mid-late 90s?
uh, yeah, early 2000s, yeah. And uh, he took me around to those. My parents split when I was around 16, and then I kind of was on my own for them, and that's sort of more when I caught the bug and realized I enjoyed doing this. Would go by myself, get a hotel room, bowl the tournaments all around the state of Iowa, and kind of that's when I caught it. Was probably 17, 18 years old was when I really started taking it more seriously.
Was there a lot of good, was there a good youth program in Iowa?
High school bowling was pretty good. The format was kind of cool. You bowled 2 regular games and then 5 Baker games. I've always been
Oh,
a
really?
big fan
Oh,
of
wow.
Baker.
That's-
So you got
2 regular games, huh?
2 regular games
like that.
and then 5 Baker. So 3 total games worth of bowling. And then they had GISBT, the Greater Iowa Scholarship Bowling Tour,
Okay.
is what I bowled a lot. AJ Chapman came up bowling those 2. And those were the first or second Sunday of every month. It still goes on. It's still, and it goes all over Iowa. And the prize money was usually good enough that we'd pull like current Wichita State players and other college bowlers at the time as well, and people from Minnesota, and that's how I met Eric Branson, who's from Superior, Wisconsin, and things like that. So a lot of people from all over would travel to Iowa for those tournaments.
Sounds like an incredible youth program there.
It was pretty awesome. I mean, it was good. There was definitely some things to do if you wanted to do them. I agree. Yeah.
That's it.
And
That's interesting what you was talking about the high school bowling format, because here they did 8 Baker games. You never bowled
That's it. Just 8 Baker.
you never
total.
bowled a solid game on
Wow.
your own.
That's crazy.
Uh,
Yeah, I liked the format of it because at least the first 2 years the team wasn't very good. So
yeah.
bowling an entire game helped
right,
helped compete.
exactly.
So
yeah.
yeah.
And you have any idols growing up, bowling wise?
I was a big PB3 fan. Parker Bone the Third,
Oh, yeah,
also
makes
being
sense.
left-handed.
Good choice.
You know, I've always kind of liked the attitude of Pete Weber, which has always been like, if somebody doesn't like him, that's their knock. And I grew up playing like all sports, and there's just a different. I've been like, you catch me checking in or something like that. I think I'm pretty easy to get along with. I'm a nice guy, but when you step in between the lines, no matter what the sport is,
Mm-hmm.
I try to take on a very serious and competitive role, and may not be the nicest guy, or I've had people say that I'm cocky or arrogant or things like that while I'm on there, and that's just me just trying to focus. I'm just trying to do the
Game
best that I
face.
can do every time. Yeah, and like I've never been one to not try my hardest when I'm out there. So if I'm on your team and I have a bad game or anything, it's not because I'm not trying. It's just because I didn't play well, you know. So
Happens.
yeah.
And what were some of your, well, how many 300s did you have so far?
13. I
13?
couldn't tell you how many are sanctioned or unsanctioned or in practice or any of that, but I've got 13.
13? Okay.
Yeah.
Good number.
yeah.
Four 800s.
So, well, at least
Wow.
I got you beat on something.
Yeah.
I got
I'll work
5.
on it. I'll work
Oh,
on
yeah, I'm sure that
Yeah.
won't take long. But what's your highest? I'm sure it's higher than mine.
it. 847, and that was not sanctioned or anything like that. Sanction's 823.
Ooh, I got you beat by 3.
I got him.
Damn it.
But yours is 826 too?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of
Wow.
ours 826.
Wow.
I had an 823, and yeah,
My
my 823 was with an open.
Wow.
my senior year of
First
high
rank?
school. I was doing Tom Krug's Travel League and at Owasso, actually. It's my first 300, 800 set.
In traveling league.
Yeah,
I think I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
yeah.
One that I don't count in college, I bowled at Wichita State, or I went to Wichita State and tried out for the team, bowled developmental team 2 years, and then I didn't bowl the rest of my college career. I shot 800 down in the rec, which is always sport pattern of some kind. They never lay down house, but it was one lane, and I don't count that in my 4, but I shot. That was fun. Having some success on something hard was
Yeah, you
fun
don't
to
see
do.
that very often.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It was
Yeah.
a good time. But it was on lane 7, and lane 7 is I think the topography. It's probably better now, but it really always was a good lane for me. No matter what the pattern was, whether it was tryouts or any of that, it was always a lane that seemed to play a little bit easier on the left side. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many leagues you doing now?
So a friend of mine, Corey Asher, who's kind of in the real estate business too, just asked me to jump on his Thursday night team, which I really didn't want to bowl.
Where
3
at?
leagues. That's a BA on
Okay.
Thursday nights. But they had a guy drop out, and Corey's a friend, and I wanted to get in there. And so I'm bowling Thursday night, Friday night travel, and then I'm going to bowl that Sunday sport. So,
Nice.
Fortunately, with that one, it's in and out on Sunday.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
here an hour, and
Yeah,
we're still
exactly. That's
signing
pretty
up for
quick.
that sport league on every Sunday, starting next Sunday. 3 games, 2-member teams, $20 a week, $10 lineage, 10 goes to the prize fund. It's a really good paying league. 16 weeks, 4 weeks at a time on a pattern, and like we did it this summer. So yeah, I'm still signing up. AJ decided to bowl with Foster,
Yeah.
It's a good matchup. Or a good pair.
and I'm bowling with Freight Train.
That'll be fun.
So we got the number 1s.
Yeah, you won't see me out there. I don't bowl unless I have to, just so you know.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, if you're free Sunday evenings, you should bowl that, because I'm a big proponent of the only way you're really going to get better is to challenge yourself, and
Oh, yeah.
bowling on something hard like that, where when you miss left, it stays left instead of ending up right or coming back flush. And same with the right. I mean, it's knowing your equipment and being in the right part of the lane is a huge deal.
And also shows how well you're bowling or how well you're not bowling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I mean, we hit a different pattern each week for the summer, and it was, you know, the toughest one I thought was probably Earl Anthony, and then I think everybody else thought the red square was really tough.
Red squares.
Yeah, I heard a lot about that shot. Once they
And but yeah, it was. But the thing is, though, if it was really tough, you wanted to bowl more on it, and it was on to the next one the next week. So we
Well,
figured we
you
wanted to
would
do.
think that's
4
how
weeks
most
at a
people
time.
want to do it, but some people will go out there and shoot 116 or be like, I'm gonna go sit on this house pattern again, and that's just not ever how I've ever looked at it.
no.
No.
Yeah.
So
But no, it just it's going to make you end up being better on the house
Yeah.
patterns. You're going to be more accurate.
exactly.
Unless you're Kaysen. And he says he can't bowl on house patterns because he bowls on sport all the time.
Yeah,
Well, that's a real thing. When you go all sport all the time, it's a different shape that you need to make, and it's way different, and you leave a lot of corners.
Even your equipment, like people use different equipment for sport shots compared to house shots because there's
Uh-huh.
higher
Yeah.
volume of oil and that kind
Sure.
of thing.
Yeah.
and then from week to week, when it wasn't less, you never knew kind of exactly what it was going to be. Even whenever you had the graphs on there and everything, it couldn't completely until you actually bowl on it. It's a lot different than looking at something,
Sure.
on a piece of paper.
Oh yeah. So who are you looking forward to bowling against in the club? Who would you like to see challenge you for the number 1 spot?
Nobody. I'm just gonna sit at number 1, and you guys can just not challenge me, and I'll take it.
No,
That'd be great.
nice.
Take the
no,
money and run.
I legitimately enjoy all the challenges. It's fun. It's a different style of bowling. There's not necessarily one specific person. I mean, of course, we're on different teams, but I like bowling against Jared, and like Dustin bowling in the finals against.
That was
them.
an
there's-
intense match.
I was really looking forward to bowling against Eddie before he hurt his back in the
Yeah.
commissioners the belt match. I love bowling against Ernie Stiegel.
Mhm.
That guy.
Killer
I-
matches.
yeah, I mean, it always comes down to the 10th, but in at least one of our games, if not every single one. So I mean, there's just a ton of good bowlers, and I like getting up in the 10th frame and knowing what I need to do and then doing it. That's what bowling is, and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Did you
It's
like
truest form.
Did you like the tournament? I mean,
The tournament was
that
fun.
was
The tournament was fun, and
yeah.
it's
You and Tanner had a great match, and then
yeah.
oh man, that
Wow.
was
Yeah.
probably the best match of the tournament, hands
Uh,
down.
That was my favorite match because through the first game of that match. That was the first match after qualifying. In game 1, I shot 185, and that was my highest game of the tournament so far. And it really, to be honest, pissed me off. And that's not a standard that I like to hold myself to. And I really kind of just got pissed and really locked in. I don't know if you could see it or whatever,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like it was, I locked in and was
It looked
probably
like you
only missed.
straightened everything up.
I did.
Played a
I
little more direct.
zoned changed, and where I was trying to keep my ball down lane at like the 45-foot rangefinder, I was trying to keep it around 10 there. I decided to keep it more around 12 and have 10 maybe be my miss left, and that came with about a 5-board jump with my feet too on the left side. That's a zone, and I. Went with like Hustle Inc. or Phase 2 were like the two that really were just smooth, arky, and I could get through the pins well. And it seemed like when one wasn't working, the other was. Reading it correctly, that pattern had a big difference in volume. So as rolly as my hand position was, my ball could see the difference a little bit easier from that angle. So if I did miss left, it could read in the pattern instead of when the oil ended. Because when you try to only rely on the back end on something 45 feet and just really 45 feet there, you're handcuffed. You're gonna have to hit a needle at the end of the pattern, and it's just too hard.
That far out down lane.
Exactly. So, yeah, that helped the most, was getting in the right part of the lane, and then just hitting my line more often. I just really did not bowl well the first 4 games. So, but after that, I was really like, I shot 268 twice. Once in game 3 against Tanner, I think, and then I shot it in game 3 against Ernie. I went spare, single pin whiff, sheet.
That was another good match between you and Ernie.
Yeah.
You guys
Always.
put on some great matches. I mean.
Yeah, I shouldn't have ball changed in game 2 and let him get away with one. And then I went back to the ball that I used in game 1 and went,
Don't you love that when you're like,
spare whiff,
I'm going to change
sheet.
balls right here and change my angle a little bit, and it's going to be great. And then you do it, and you're like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Can I go back to where I was?
Yep. Well, luckily it let me do that. So sometimes you
Sometimes it's
switch balls and then ruin what you had.
Yeah, it's hard to find
Yeah.
what you were doing.
Yeah.
One thing you were saying, listening closely there, especially like on sports shots, for me, whenever I'm finding on bowling on these Sundays, is, of course, everybody knows I play pretty much straight as an arrow, but the thing is they're really making really smaller adjustments more than usual, and then just kind of almost with me hitting the same spot over and over, that's whenever you can create your area and your change.
Yeah.
And instead of, somebody who's, giving the ball more room or whatever. So what I found is any big moves weren't good. It's always the small ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, unless you're just in the wrong part of the lane and you need to jump into a different zone.
Right, like you said.
Yeah, and on the left side, I feel like that's even more important because when they're hard, they're always hard.
Right.
Like the right side, when you bowl on game 1 on a sport pattern and it seems super tight, oh, that's me all day. So, and
Unless you have some help over there with a couple of
yeah, but even then, I mean, at most, I'm going to have 3 lefties on a side. And in a tournament like that, sure, when there's only 2 people on each lane or 1 person on each lane. But when you get in like league or something like that, you don't ever transition that's not the right word, because there is transition. It's different, it's smaller, and more fine-tuned moves to get the ball through the pins rather than like, I need a 3 and 2 every other shot. But whatever you're given is what you have pretty much all day.
Yeah.
So it can be a blessing in league, but I seem to always bowl better when I have another lefty or 2
Well,
over there.
Makes sense.
But it can also be a curse too, like Bowling Planet and Snowman and things like that. It's hard.
Right.
Those things are hard. So when I bowled that with Jared one time, playing a doubles in one, and the left side was stupid. It was so hard. And at one point, I just went up, and my feet were on 4, and my eyes were on 7, and I literally was like almost like a spare ball with a slight little off to the side at the end just to get a little tip, and throwing BBs at the pocket.
Trying to play my line, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And that's what I had to do. The right side was so burnt so deep that my ball would hook in the first 15, so I had to like almost loft it over it and get back to my oil. And yeah, it was tough.
It's insane. This is
Yeah.
a good question for both of you guys. Out of all the bowlers in the Tulsa area right now, who would you like to see join our club?
There are a lot of really good players, like players from that Masters League that aren't in it, that should bowl. It's fun. It's fun, and it puts you in situations that just regular league play is never going to put you in. Like you may need a double in the 10th in league, but that's not. It's just for a point or something. This like you change hands, you can lose your spot, you can move up and things like that, and it's more match play tournament feel, and that's the best. I think hopefully it sets us up better when we get in those situations in tournaments because of it. And so guys like McCraddock and things like that, other guys need to get in here. And
Yeah, it's crazy how within two
20
games,
bucks.
within 2 games you can go from winning money to winning nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So what about you, Chuck? Who do you think should
Of
join
course,
with us?
I'd like to see Austin, but somebody that got mentioned Friday, Ricky Sparks.
Yeah, Sparks.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
He
bowler in all of
never
Tulsa to watch. 'cause
Gives
he
it
wants
up
it.
every shot.
He wants it so bad. And you
Yes.
could see it and hear it. And
Yes, you can hear
Yeah.
it. Yes, I love it. I just
Yeah.
love people who, we're all in this because, in my opinion, the reason you should bowl is because you love to bowl. It's not about the money. It's
Oh, yeah.
about that you love to do it. But I know a lot of people around. It's not about that. It's about money. But that's what I love to see, somebody who just really loves to bowl, and that's what I see out of Ricky. Me,
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm a high average bowler or medium high average bowler, whatever. But I just love to bowl. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So but I think that if just bowling a match with him would be just so much fun. I think.
Yeah.
Just
Well, I
try
like
every shot, no matter what.
another thing that I like about Ricky is there's somebody who talks to themselves at
Mhm.
least as much or more than I do, because I am always talking to myself, and I'm sure I look crazy from afar.
Well, I mean,
Just
I think everybody does that a little
Yeah,
bit.
You
Yeah.
just may not see
bowling,
it as
bowling
much. I know
will let
I
you do
am.
that, but I might even do it out loud, and I know Ricky does that too.
I don't know if I've ever heard you. So yeah.
Oh well.
But, I mean,
I do it. I do it plenty.
do you have most of your thoughts before you're up there, or are you
Yeah.
still talking when you're up there?
If you're talking while you're up there, you're not in the shot all the way, and
Right.
that's huge. Like if I miss a single pin, it's probably because I was talking to myself about the shot before, and that's what. There's a book they made us read in college called The Inner Game of Tennis, and it talks about shutting your mind up and just letting yourself observe yourself, and really being as in the moment as you can be, and
Who wrote that?
that's I couldn't tell you, and I don't think I've ever finished the whole thing, but I get a few in, and then it really just helps. I've read like the first 4 chapters 6 times, but I've never completely finished the book. But it's really good about like just shutting your mind off as soon as you cross the line on to the approach. No more previous shot, no more this shot. Just observe, know what you want to do, and
Here
just
and
try
now.
not to think about it. Yeah.
Clearing your mind and letting your body just do what it
Exactly.
knows what to do. You know.
We bowled long enough, and that's the trap a lot of us fall into. You know how to bowl. Your body knows how to do it.
Yeah.
It's just your brain can get in the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because you overanalyze yourself, and then you try to change what you think you need to change. If you just shut your mind off and just do it,
Yeah.
typically it runs good for you. you know.
I know outside of bowling, definitely my sports hero would be Federer, Roger Federer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been great forever.
Ever.
at
At
his-
his greatest
yeah,
ever, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He makes it look easy.
Sure.
Yeah.
The greats always do.
Yeah.
I mean, I never was
True.
much of a sports fan outside of bowling. I'm not. It's just pretty much bowling, except for tennis occasionally. And I remember whenever in 2005, our house nearly had burned to the ground, and we had gotten we were staying in an apartment for 3 months while it was rebuilt, and watching U.S. Open that year, whenever he was playing Agassi, and I was just so impressed by how calculating he was, and I've loved him ever since.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Do you have any idols outside of bowling, sports-wise?
I'm a big LeBron fan because I like the way that he handles himself, and he's been in that spotlight since he was so young, and I think he's done a really good job as a whole. I mean, Tiger in his peak was amazing. Man, outside of bowling, who else?
He may pick again.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
He's got to
He
get
had
over
one more in him, though.
He's got to
Yeah.
get over those back problems first.
Yeah, I don't know.
Me too.
I love all sports, man, and it's the mental side of it for me that really gets it, like how you handle yourself, how you perform in big moments, and people who never seem shaken, no matter what the situation is. That's what I really like to see. I like to one of the most recent golf tournaments. John Rahm hit like a 66-footer to win in a playoff hole.
Wow.
And it was like, like those situations, really cool. And Dustin Johnson to force the playoff hole putt and made like a 44-foot putt or something like that. Those are just when pressure's on, how do you show up? And that's what I love about sports, no matter who's in the situation.
One that comes to mind for me is Brett Favre.
I love Brett
mean,
Favre.
look
I'm a
how
huge
old he was
Packers
when he
fan.
was
Yeah.
finishing up his career. He was older than most,
Oh yeah,
and he still made it work.
yeah.
He's still
I'm a big Tom Brady fan.
Tom Brady's another good one.
Because his passion and just desire to will a team to win, and make everybody around him better. That's what I love about team sports too. I could be better at that in league. Like at Sahoma the other day, I really didn't bowl very well, and I missed a spare in game one, and it bothered me, and I kind of locked into my own zone and kind of shut my team out, and that was probably not a good idea. I could be a better teammate. But seeing people who bring everybody else around him, that's something I think LeBron does pretty well. Some people call him a ball hog, but I actually, when you really watch, he distributes and does things really well and makes his team better and has a really good knowledge of the game. And people who have a good knowledge and can share that with people, I think that's big.
I think it'd be cool or interesting to see a Baker style league, because with bowling, even though it's a team, you have team leagues. It's not really a team. You're all still individuals.
I love Baker format.
I do too.
My highest Baker team game was a 278, and that thing was electric.
Yeah.
Man, it was so much
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
It was so cool.
Your teamwork on that.
Yeah, for sure.
What position were you?
I think I led off.
So one and
Yeah,
five?
I'm pretty sure.
1 and 6?
Yeah, I led off that one, and that was in high school. I'm pretty sure we probably did it in practice in college or something like that too. But
I remember when there was during high school bowling. Remember when there was that Baker 300? David Hearn was on the team. It was BA.
Mm-hmm.
that had to be
I
fun.
remember that. Yeah, they had that was all over TV around town.
Yeah.
yeah.
Very
For once,
cool.
bowling was. I mean, I can just imagine hearing what you were saying about Iowa compared to Oklahoma. God, we must suck. I mean, as far as bowling here versus out of this state,
Sure.
as far as how much attention is paid to it.
Yeah, maybe I can't speak for the youth program anymore. It does seem like the youth program here is not super strong.
I mean, you can't even get
We're
a letter
trying.
for being on the high school team. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't recognize it.
Okay.
Or at least they didn't when I was in school. I'm pretty sure they still don't recognize it. But
I think the girls in high school was a varsity sport. I think guys is now. I think you could let her in it when like the year or two after I left, which is how it always went growing up. But the girls were when I was a senior, and then the guys shortly after became a varsity sport. But,
so if someone decided to do a Baker style league, who would be your 5?
oh shoot, there's too many good answers there.
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's tough. In town or just in general?
in town.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, my Friday night Masters League back before it was a draft was really good. It was me, Mark, Jared. I mean, you could throw. Let me see here. Man, I really like bowling with Mike Basket. I really like bowling with Mike Basket. Him and I see the lane very similarly. We throw it a little differently, but we've bowled enough together now that we can make moves off each other and communicate really well together. And then Dustin's bowling awesome. I mean, that dude is bowling insane. His last season was really, really good. So, yeah, and he just won the tournament too. So you got to have him up there.
Yeah. What about you, Chuck?
Not to short anybody who didn't make that list.
Who would be your 5?
Eddie.
My
too.
Friday night team.
It's good picks.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily. I know how good and we all gel together. We have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
chemistry
we all-
together.
We all work together
And
real well.
also, talking about this before, it's such a long time finding, people to bowl with that I like. So that's more important to me than how good they are.
Sure.
Oh yeah. So trying to think. I don't think we have any other news bits or anything like that. Anything you care to add before we wrap this up?
Oh, I did want to ask one more question.
Oh, maybe-
Like a
What's that?
classic?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a
good
fun
time.
league. The
It's a good
chance.
time.
Wait till I leave a Lily.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's whenever it goes berserk. when someone leaves one.
I did have to scratch my head and say, "What the hell's going on?" When
Yep.
stand through the gutter ball for the first time. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, geesh, this
Speak-
is."
You only had one or two, was it? I think, or was it? I think it
It
was
was just 2, I think.
two. Okay, yeah.
in one night.
Yeah,
Or,
on Friday night.
Oh, this
yeah.
last Friday.
Well, I think there's probably been 6 total, about 2 a night.
Yeah. Some nights it could be. I think
Yikes.
Bartlesville a lot of times whenever it's the
Oh my
most.
God, yeah.
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 Oh, I want to have a shout out for staying sharp for. He actually took out Avery in the
Yeah, I saw
challenge
that.
last Friday. That was
Yeah.
that was pretty cool of him to, bowling as well as he did, and even have the pressure of a club match on top of league.
Yeah, I like whenever I'd won my match Monday. Was it Monday? When was it? No, it was Wednesday. That's the first time I won one outside of league. Pretty much it's been either league or tournament whenever I've been playing
Oh, really?
somebody. Whenever
Yeah.
I've been head to head, I haven't done it yet. And then I was like 0-4, and now I'm 5-1. So
Yeah,
I'm finally
I'm
doing
the complete
something.
opposite. I bowled Tracy in league on Friday, and that's the first league challenge I've done. Everything else
Yeah.
has been in person.
I've had to shoot 299 against this guy to beat him during league, and then
And
me
made
and
a
Russ.
7-10.
Me and Russ, yeah.
That was hard as he throws it. I'm sure he's probably got a handful of those.
Well, I was like
I
completely.
enjoy leaving the 710 now.
Yeah?
Like
How
I,
many times
I
you
won
made
them
that?
twice.
Was that it? Wow.
Well, see, I'm like, I was snake bit at first. I had a 7-10 and a 4-6 made against me. I was like, I'm not going to win a match ever, I guess. And
Yeah.
then whenever I won my first match, and it was during the BA sweeper, I was just like, oh, screw this tournament. I'm just glad I won a match. you know?
I'm not sure which match it was, but I made that 4-6-10 in one of the matches. That was fun.
It
That was
Avery
That was
or
an Ernie match because it was.
Or was it Avery or Tanner?
I know
remember
Tanner
once you
was on the
fold
pair too.
Yeah, I think,
and
yeah, Avery, Tanner, and Ernie were bowling with you, I think.
Yeah.
that's right.
I want to say it was you and Ernie, and then Tanner and Avery were bowling each other, but I'm not.
it was,
I'm
it
not
was one of the
positive.
two, but me, Tanner, and Avery all made a big split.
Yes,
in it.
I
It was
remember
pretty
that
cool.
night.
That was fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
good time.
And I love on these matches how pretty much everybody's going live on them. You know, it's kind of great. It's hard
Yeah.
to do that during league, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
but-
need to be better at that. I've done it the last few, and I need to get better at it.
Yeah, like your shoe stand.
Yeah, I usually use my shooter prop up the phone. That's all right.
I wasn't. I haven't been doing it as well lately either. My match with Jared, I didn't want to because I knew I was going to get creamed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I need to get back on. I usually
Have a
carry.
little faith in yourself, Jay.
Well, when you bowl higher caliber bowlers like that, or him and AJ and Dustin and those kind of guys, you kind of know how it's going to go. You have your hopes, but you know how it's going to go.
On these
Anything
house
can
patterns,
happen on one game.
anything can happen. Yeah.
Especially if you have a bunch of kids with a bunch of plastic
Well,
balls
and
right
that's
before you
like-
get there. And
I mean, shoot, there was that one match where I probably should have beat Ernie by 30, and then I stoned a 9-pin in the middle of what would have been a 7-bagger.
Mhm.
And I mean, threw it awesome, and it just didn't fall.
The thing that was it just how he came back. I mean, he was down, I think, 40 pins in that game.
Yeah,
and
he
came
opened
back.
early. He
Yeah.
opened early in like the second or the third, and
Those are always
yeah,
fun to see. Not on your end as much, I know,
Yeah, that
because you
was
feel like
raw.
you give it away. But
yeah.
just still.
I didn't give it away.
Well,
I just,
no,
I just wasn't
right.
rewarded
I know you
for a
didn't,
pretty
but I
darn
mean,
good
it's just
shot.
solid A can pop up. That's why
Yeah.
a lot of people are always big on whenever you bowl a game and everybody hangs you. I've never liked that because I was like, well, all four can go through the nose and you leave a solid 8.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's a mental thing. Like bowling is an extremely mental sport.
Yeah.
Because you can throw a perfect shot every time, and you're not going to get,
Sure.
or you could or could not.
But there was something that I thought that I wanted to say, and it just hit me that I wanted to say on here is, and this is more for maybe some of the people who are looking to get better, and it's to bowl a 200 game, you only need to throw 2 strikes. If you are clean and you throw a double, you shot 200. So you could bowl a 600 series and throw 6 strikes. So people get really caught up in learning how to hook it and do this, and they just completely neglect ball number 2. And then you also see on ball number 2 people, the way that they shoot certain spares just does not give them the best margin for error for it. And that's what I'm huge on is think about what you're doing. Like some people try to go up 10 shooting at it for the right side, go up 10 to shoot a 10 pin. It's like there's just no margin for error.
You gotta
have
give
one
yourself-
miss and it's in, and not that much in.
You got to give yourself room.
Exactly.
Use the lane to your advantage.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of throwing it straight at spares, at least single pins or pins that are right next to each other. That's not for everybody. I don't like hooking at cross lane at league anymore because here in Tulsa, you just get so wet dry that like when I grew up, my dad taught me like 3-6-9 method. And that's just not even applicable anymore because the mound in the middle is so huge that I've moved like 12 for a 6 pin, and it's bowling's a field game and there's no direct method. You just got to work on what works best for you and get to where you could,
interesting on
put
that.
the ball
The
anywhere.
3-6-9 rule, which I use for like right-sided spares. I mean, I've found that it's impossible for me to make a 3-10 or a 3-6-10 going across the middle of the lane. I have to go off my strike mark.
Really?
Yeah, because
A 3-6-10?
it didn't
I
used to be
cannot
that
do
way.
that with a 247.
I actually did a league night or 2 league nights whenever I was just going to use my spare ball for all 3-6 combos. Chopped every one of them.
I don't.
And so I just figured it's better off for me using off my strike mark. And granted, I'm a lot straighter, but
For a long time, I really, really didn't like that spare. And then I just one day told myself, not anymore. It's not going to bother me. And I went to the bowling center and I grabbed my plastic ball, and that's the only ball I picked up the whole time. And I practiced 2 spares in kind of a low ball style of format. And I shot the to speak lefty, 247. And if I did it right, that left the 136. And then I practiced a washout on ball 2. And that was my 2 shots. It was those two, and that's just all that I did. And I do the same thing with 7s and 10 pins. When I practiced 7 and 10 pins, I'm trying to plink. That's the only thing I'm taking off the rack on 7 and 10. Like if a lot of people play low ball and if they take 3, that was a good shot. No, I want to take just the pin. The level of detail in it has to be a little bit higher because you can then feel like you missed and still make it. And that's just been my mentality towards it.
what was it before he left for Wichita? Kaysen had a 24 in a game. Shooting
Yeah.
a 7 and a 10.
Yeah, he went
Wow.
he went like 4 frames in a row, and the first shot of the next one plinking, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Hard to do, and it may have been longer than that. I think I'm probably sliding it, but it was an impressive amount. Dude's really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how the next 4 years
Well,
goes
his
for him.
first regional he cashed in, so I haven't heard from him though in a
he
little
can
bit. I
play.
need to text him and see how he's doing.
He can play.
I think
He's a good kid.
he's going to be on my GTO team.
Yeah. Good pull.
Russ is putting a pretty damn good team together.
Nice.
So that's going to be interesting.
I, for the first time ever, may be in search of a GTO team because it doesn't seem like my group's. Some of them are pretty COVID cautious, and it seems like we're not going to be able to get everybody out here.
I have a
So,
feeling your phone's going to be going
Yeah.
off here in a
Yeah.
second.
So,
Whenever it is,
but-
it's loaded up.
Talk to Russ. I think he's trying to put more than one team together. So
yeah. Well, that's how we've always done it. We've always brought 10 guys, and
Mhm.
if I may have a team, and maybe where we only get 5 guys this year, but I don't know yet. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are willing to make the trip, and hopefully that doesn't hurt the entries enough.
I haven't heard yet how it's looking, but I mean,
Yeah.
if it's not the lowest ever, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Of the 18 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this whole
I love that tournament.
with everything going on, it's kind of screwed up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
do you think when flu
I've been on
season hits, everything is unknown. We're here planning on everything. Business as usual. But I mean, who knows what it's going to be like in November?
Yeah,
Sure.
it could change.
Yeah, I've been on a decent run bowling nationals every year for like the last 4 years, and it getting canceled this year sucked because I was really excited for that, and I like the group that I bowl with, and it's
It's tough.
So the last time I went, I noticed they had like consecutive years in a row awards and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I wonder if that's going to count against anybody since they
I
canceled
would
it.
imagine not. You
Yeah.
can't do that.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
When the event didn't happen.
that's really should be the only thing I bowl because that's one thing I always cash in pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, got to make your spares and scratch.
yeah. It's tough. I still think everybody who bowls at any type of competitive level, especially because they got tiered zones now, everybody should bowl that. That's
Right.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun, and the experience and the travel and
wow.
everything.
It's like
I
you're
mean-
on like a pro on TV with the experience of all the atmosphere.
It's fun. The big
Yeah.
scoreboard, it's usually some lame music that they play when you walk out,
Of course.
but you get to walk out and go to your lane, and yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's good.
I bowled in Vegas. I think the last time I did it, and they do something.
It's not necessarily that I ever have to loft the gutter cap,
Sure.
but I generally have a problem on the left lane getting
Sure,
far
yeah,
enough right
too
because of my
straight.
drift.
Sure.
Well, I love that, obviously, and out of the gate, never bowled nationals before. I started with a 269.
Cool.
Wow.
And I was in Knoxville. I had 600 all 3 sets, and but yeah, I love that because you and so did Ernie, and so did anybody who hooks the ball.
I think they're due to be easy again one of these coming years, because the last few,
I've heard they've been brutal.
I don't know about brutal, but I mean, shooting 600 every set's a good job, you know. But a few years when I bowled in El Paso, I thought they were pretty brutal, but I also was not the best form of myself during that. But yeah, they're harder than a house shot always.
Well, yeah, definitely up there.
So one last question I got for you.
Okay.
We're thinking about doing some more smaller tournaments for members only, and we're going to do like some fun ones.
Okay.
So what kind of format do you think would be a fun little tournament to do?
Yeah, I'm not. I just show up and bowl what they tell me to bowl. I don't know.
We talked about doing like a plastic ball tournament or a low ball
Oh.
tournament or a black light
low
tournament.
ball tournament. See, you're talking low ball tournament. Then I think I'm a favorite,
I'm in.
and that
Yeah.
helps. That makes me. But I don't know how your entries would be on a low ball tournament. Plastic ball would be fun.
Well, Ernie would be
I've never done anything like that.
killer on that.
Talked to Rylan about doing a black light tournament where we turn all
Of
the
course, he'd
lights
love
off
that.
Yeah.
and have just the black lights, not like the glow, like the strobe lights, nothing like that, but
Sure,
just the
yeah,
black
but
lights.
just doing it in the dark.
Just,
Wow.
yeah.
Because it's still gonna be hard to see
That'd
your
be
marks and
interesting.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turned it into a lot more of a field game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, either of those would be fun. Cool. I've never bowled a plastic ball tournament.
I haven't either. I know
The
they have.
PBA had done that a couple times. And it seemed fun.
I know they have one here. Was it yearly? Once
Yes,
a year?
during the breast cancer tournament at the end of it,
Yeah.
strikeout breast cancer, plastic ball challenge. Ernie's won it a couple of years. I think Mike
Well, that's because
Foster's
he
won it.
hooks his plastic ball.
Well, yeah, I mean, he would be the favorite going in probably.
Yeah.
I know Jared was always really good at two-handing plastic balls way back when.
Jared Hoover?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen him do
Oh
that.
yeah, I remember he had a match with a lot of money where he beat a guy. They were going at a plastic, and yeah, Jared won every one of them.
Wow. That's the only way he'd get any revs. Just kidding. Just messing with him. Jared's a friend. That's funny. I do wish that somehow the PBA would incorporate some type of challenge like this. I think that'd be fun. I think you get some really good matches.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And like the first thing that comes to mind with that, where like you challenge somebody, is like Belmo Rash, where Rash threw that strike. Take that, you bottle bitch.
A lot of trash talking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
man.
that'd be great.
I think some of those
I'm
getting
actually
some people who didn't like
surprised.
each other would be cool.
I'm surprised we don't have any more trash talking than we do. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a lot going on. It's all,
We'll see.
we're in this together. I'm like, come on, dude. Let's
That's
talk
fun.
some trash,
Yeah, I don't.
I think Rodney's about the only one that's good at that around here lately.
Oh, there's others.
There will be people who I'm sure will.
There's
jaw
others who
plenty.
are in it who are, I think, staying quiet right now.
Yeah. Well, I want to keep as many people in it as we can. I
You don't want
wanna-
to scare anybody off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
I don't blame you there.
Yeah, that would.
but
So we have any final comments before we wrap this up from either one of you guys?
no, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you having
I
appreciate
enjoy
you
it.
coming
I'm
out,
enjoying
man.
Tubbs, and I love the format. And this is probably the most I've bowled since
Yeah,
college.
that's what I was just say. Especially you're sitting there saying you're doing 3 leagues,
Yeah, that's
I'm like,
that's
yeah,
literally
you're
the most
3 leagues plus
I've
challenges,
ever bowled.
plus practice.
Yeah, yeah. I need to get my spare ball back. I went to get that weight hole plugged, and I just never picked it back up. And it's shown. So I need to get back in there. Like, I missed a spare game 1 against Dustin, and I would have at least forced a game 3. You know, the difference in the first match was, I think, less than 11. So if I
Yeah.
make that, yeah, whatever. But
Well, I appreciate you coming out
Hey,
and
yeah,
joining us.
glad to.
It's a lot of fun. Chuck, like always, it's good to have you on here with me.
Fun.
I'd like to thank everybody for viewing. I'd like to throw a thanks to Rylan and Andy Beast for letting us use the office for this podcast. They've done more than their fair share of help with us and support. So check out the YouTube channel. We have a couple matches out there. We haven't had too many matches lately put on there, but we're working on getting some more out there. And thanks for viewing. Have a good afternoon, guys.
see you Tuesday.